Before we get started tonight, Dolphins fans, I just got to ask if I start doing some Miami Dolphins therapy sessions, maybe throughout the week, how many of you would care to join? Maybe drop your thoughts in the comments because this team is officially putting us through it right now as we lost once again Monday night primetime, embarrassing fashion. And I know we've got all the excuses in the world. We have our backup quarterback. The offensive line is hurt. Cornerback 2 is out. I could go on and on, but it doesn't matter. It's the NFL. No one feels sorry for you. And here we are at 1-3 after losing to the Tennessee Titans, who we talked about all week. If there's another team that's kind of going through it, especially as a fan base, like they have got Will Levis, they got a second-year quarterback. They want to see some positive things going on. They've been going through it. They have not had a successful season. They didn't look great in this game either, but winning 31-12 just makes us look so much worse. I don't want to say than we are, but geez, right now, Dolphins fans, we are, like I said, just failing to live up to these preseason, off-season expectations that we had, because the natural progression for this team was to continue to get better and better. It was the same pieces. It was just more continuity with these guys, and we thought we had filled a couple of holes, and it's not truly proving to be the case at this point in time. So we'll jump into everything, but like I said, I want your thoughts, your takeaways in the comments. Speechless. I've got a lot of thoughts. They're just not a lot of positive thoughts. So like I said, if I'm going to start some midweek therapy sessions, let me know if you're going to be attending those in the comments as well. But Dolphins fans, despite being without Tua for multiple weeks now, Mike McDaniel is simply failing to adjust offensively. And in my opinion, one of the biggest reasons, and because I'm not an NFL coach, I'm a fan just like you guys out there, but we all got feelings. We've all got some opinions, right? I'm not trying to be an expert here. I think he's trying to make the offense too complex. We're still running too much pre-snap motion on an offense that is very highly timing based. And you heard the announcers tonight saying just how unique Tua Tagovailoa's skill set is to do all that. We saw that come to fruition a negative way multiple times last night, but we're using still too much pre-snap motion. We're trying to go too wide with anything. We're not going vertical. We're going wide with everything. Mike McDaniel just, in my opinion, simply hasn't figured out how to run an offense when Tua Tagovailoa isn't the quarterback. The motion isn't as fluid without Tua out there. The eye candy isn't working in the slightest. And quite honestly, our offensive line, that's how we try to mask that. We try to mask that with the scheme and the eye candy. Because without that, the offensive linemen just simply one-on-one, they're not good right now. T'Vondre Sweat ruined plays multiple times. He is a rookie. And I get it. He's a talented rookie, but come on. This team is simply hard to watch right now. Put it this way. If you watch that game from start to finish, I'm proud of you as a Miami Dolphins fans. Even better yet, if you are taking time out of your night, out of your Tuesday morning to watch this recap as well, I'm even more proud of you because this current offense right now is up there with some of the worst that we have seen as Dolphins fans. And yes, you know it, we have seen bad. Now, I know that we've got our blinders on sometimes as loyal fans of the team, but quite honestly, this lack of success probably shouldn't have been as much of a surprise as it feels to us right now, all offseason, training camp, mini camp, all preseason. Whenever Tua wasn't the quarterback, this is what the offense looked like. This is what it looked like in preseason. This is what all the reporters were telling us this offense looked like in training camp when Tua was either doing the hold in for a while, or if when he was just getting rest, when it was Mike White, when it was Skylar Thompson. This was the offense. And to put it nicely, the offense is just terrible. And at this point, there's not a simple fix that we're just going to magically find while Tua remains out, because the issues run deeper than just the quarterback. A couple that I had noted from tonight. Waddle has his drop just out of halftime. If this next thing I say doesn't just sum up the game perfectly, I don't know what does. They show Tyreek Hill coming out of halftime while the offense is trotting onto the field. He's getting his wrist or his arm taped. We didn't even run a play yet in the second half. He didn't get hurt running out of the tunnel, I'm assuming. What in the hell if he needed this? What were they doing in the locker room? That was so frustrating to me. He's out there on the sideline, not even out on the field, getting his arm taped. We hadn't run a play in the second half. That sums up this game perfectly, in my opinion. Our 4th and short plays, forget it. We're terrible. We tried Tyreek running along the outside, no chance. We try a read option with Huntley and Achane, no chance. We've got 3 illegal motion plays on one single drive. Somehow, that was the drive that we scored our lone touchdown on. Miami Dolphins fans, our first touchdown since the first quarter of week 2. We remain the only NFL team to not hold a lead for a single second this season. I'm sure you've seen that stat by now. Bottom line is the issues run real deep right now. And that's where it ends. Let's talk a little bit about Tyler Huntley, because his debut went worse than we imagined, than we had hoped. He went 14 of 22, just 96 passing yards through the air. He did lead the team with 40 rushing yards on 8 attempts. He did have that lone touchdown on the ground. Unfortunately, though, this offense looked the exact same tonight as it did the previous week with Skylar Thompson and Tim Boyle. And I didn't think that was possible, but here we are. We started the game perfectly defensively. Emmanuel Ogbah, the interception with his hands, his legs, whatever else he was using out there. But what do we do with that opportunity? We talked all week. Getting a turnover early in this game, getting that extra possession, that could go a long ways. But what did we do with it? Went ahead and turned it over on our own. Huntley throws it behind the line of scrimmage. We get the fumble. Now, quite honestly, I think Tyreek Hill should have caught that ball. The fact that it was that close and he didn't try to go after it as well is a little bit alarming. But what are we doing on that play in general? We had a couple of nice plays going in that drive. And then, like I said earlier, we just try to go wide with everything. We try to out-scheme everybody. Stick with what was working. And quite honestly, the biggest, most crucial mistakes, I would say, from Huntley were probably the other notable plays that included Tyreek Hill. There was the one where Tyreek basically had to play defense in the end zone. That ball was severely underthrown. That ball's got to go back pylon where it's Tyreek or nothing. Then he had the underthrow, and then he had the overthrow. Both of those are going for 6 if they're put on the right spot. With Huntley, the running component that he brings to the offense, I guess that was fine. It's something that we're not used to. He had 1 or 2 nice designed runs, and then there were 1 or 2 decent scrambles as well. But outside of that, you still can't overcome just how lackluster this offensive line is at times. He ended up taking 2 sacks on the night. But at this point in time, I don't know if it should be Skylar. Should it be Tim Boyle? Should we give Huntley another try? And to be honest, unfortunately, I don't think it's going to matter. And maybe that's just me talking in the moment. I'm just upset right now. But I don't know it. I don't think that we have a clear-cut option that says, yep, that's who we're starting next week against the Patriots, who have a good defense. Not necessarily looking forward to that one. Let's talk about our defense here for a second as well. I want to get this off the screen for a second. All right. So we ended up holding the combination of Will Levis and Mason Rudolph. If you missed the game, Mason Rudolph came in early. Will Levis hurt his shoulder diving for trying to get a first down. We held the Titans quarterbacks to 102 passing yards. Pretty good, right? We held them to 3.6 yards per carry. Yeah, they ran for a lot of yards, but they ran a ton of times. Held them to just 3.6 yards per carry. You end up giving up 31 points. So if you didn't see the game, you'd say, hey, defense couldn't have done that well. Honestly, I am not mad, maybe even in the slightest, at our defense right now. And like I said, maybe that's masked a little bit just because of how frustrating our offense is. But think about the defense. We got to see Jalen Ramsey, defensive coordinator Anthony Weaver, be able to use him in a multitude of ways as he said he was going to do this offseason. And it worked. He had success both in coverage, coming off the line of scrimmage, lining up on the edge, getting running backs at the line of scrimmage. You could tell he was in line to blitz on a couple of plays as well. We liked what we saw there. We held DeAndre Hopkins and Calvin Ridley to a combined 36 receiving yards. Calvin Ridley's best play of the night was a 10-yard end around. Emmanuel Ogbah, we talked about his interception. I thought he set the edge very well in the run game tonight. Jordan Brooks probably played his best game as a Miami Dolphin, Led the team with 13 tackles, had that nice sack, had 2 tackles for a loss. The negative was basically a couple of lapses in the run game. We allowed the Tony Pollard 41-yard run on their first touchdown drive. And then we failed to defend their wildcat play. Essentially, Zach Sealer was the only one that had a shot at Tyjae Spears. Spears breaks the tackle. Sealer didn't have a great angle, and basically he's in the end zone from there. But just like last week, we are not giving the defense any help offensively. We held them to 5 field goals. The one long, outside of the 5 field goals, one long touchdown drive, which is going to happen. Like we said last week, your defense can't be flawless. You're not going to pitch a shutout every other week. The only other touchdown we gave up on the night, a 10-yard drive at the end of the game after we have a safety. So I'm not putting that on the defense. If there's a bright spot right now on this team, I would say it's how well this defense has come together this early under Anthony Weaver. And while no, it's not flawless, it's far and away the best thing that we've got going for us. I got a couple of final notes from the games. Jake Bailey stinks. His shanked punt essentially gave the Titans a field goal before halftime. Duke Riley, Danny Crossman, special teams coach. What are you teaching these guys? What are you doing on this punt? Why are you touching that ball? That one really blew my mind as well. I'm kind of done with the Duke Riley experiment, I should say. Jalen Phillips, if you missed the game, he hurt his knee. Hopefully everything's okay with that knee, but now we've got another injury that we need to keep our eye on. Patrick Paul ended up getting the nod at left tackle for Teron Armstead. I always say hard to judge offensive line play by an initial watch, especially of the actual broadcast. I didn't notice anything too alarming, which is typically good. He wasn't giving up tons of pressure or sacks or anything, so that's typically good from an offensive lineman. Hopefully I get some time to rewatch his snaps from that game as well. Dolphins fans, like I said, I am going to end it there for tonight. Like I said, I commend any of you that watch this recap video because truly there was not anything super promising from tonight. Like I said, I said some nice things about the defense. I do believe in the things that we're doing defensively, and just imagine how much better even the defense could be or could look if we gave it some damn help. Let our edge rushers actually pin their ears back and rush a quarterback and not have to defend 40 carries in a game. I said I was going to be done, so I'll stop ranting. But yes, Dolphins fans, we will be back a couple of days here with our Week 5 preview of the New England Patriots. So we'll kill it there for tonight, Dolphins fans. Whatever you got to do to get to bed, to put this one behind us, just like we did against Seattle. But quite honestly, I'm getting a little bit tired of having to say that week in and week out. We'll kill it there for tonight, Miami Dolphins fans. But until next time, fins up.